Welcome to Tech Savvy. My name is Leigh Newman and I'm the Associate Provost of the LaGrange campus at West Georgia Tech. And we've got lots of fun things to talk about today, but I want to make sure that we go over some specific dates for you to remember. We've got our financial aid priority deadline that has already passed, so probably you need to make sure if you're going to come to summer school, you need to check and see what you need to do to get your financial aid papers done. The fees and tuition are due on May the 13th, and if they're not paid by that point, you'll be dropped from any classes that you already registered in. And summer semester starts on May 19th, and it lasts till July the 16th. It's a short one, but it's jam-packed with fun and excitement, and you can get a lot done in a short amount of time. So now's the time to make sure you contact us at www.westgatech.edu, and if you need help with registration, go on there and email registrar or registration. It's all on the website, so please go there, visit, and see what all we can do to help you. Or the phone number is on the website. I don't have it here with me right now, but please contact us and let us help you through this process. And now's the time. Spring quarter is about to end up. We're going to have finals soon, so we're ready to get started with the summer. And of course, you can start registering for fall at this point too. So we look forward to seeing you out there soon and get started on your next step in your career, and of course, your next step in your life. So, in previous episodes of Tech Savvy, we have covered a lot of good things that we have going on at West Georgia Tech. We've covered some classes, some programs, we've highlighted some instructors, we've even talked to some students, and I just am so proud of what we've got going on out there. We're making a real difference in many people's lives, and so we want you to be a part of it. Today we have a special guest star. His name is Billy Garner. He is our lead instructor in the air conditioning technology program. And I really, honestly, I don't know that much about his program, so I told him just a few minutes ago that this is going to be a good opportunity for me to ask some silly questions or ask some questions and find out what actually goes on in his classroom. And he's also just finished Skills USA, and he had students to go to represent the school in Atlanta, and I want him to, here's a chance for him to brag about what his students did. So Billy, thank you very much for being here today, and we've got a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. So tell me about your program. What if I was to be interested in a new career and you wanted to talk to me about your program, tell me what you would say. Try to recruit me into your program.
Well, the future in air conditioning, a career in air conditioning technology is, extremely promising. Everybody wants to stay cool and everybody wants to stay warm. And I don't think it's going nowhere.
Right.
It not only the HVAC part of your home or business, or you also have the refrigeration side of it, which is extremely important. Without refrigeration, we wouldn't have cold milk and cheese and butter in the supermarkets, and we'd have a lot of spoiled food. So there's a lot of people take for granted what our field involves,
right?
Because they until it breaks.
Well,
and when it breaks, it's the most important thing out there.
Yes.
An emergency situation, but if you look around, everywhere you go, there's HVAC and refrigeration, and the job opportunities are just, it's almost endless.
I've always told myself that I don't think I could have survived before air conditioning. I'd probably do a lot of glistening. But I didn't know it until early on. I came into your classroom and you had ice makers in there. So I hadn't thought about ice makers and refrigeration as part of an air conditioning heating program. But that's all part of it, because I guess the refrigeration and the coolant has to cool the air conditioning. It's all really one type of a system. Am I on the right track with that?
Yes, ma'am. Basically, an air conditioner, removes heat from one place to another. A lot of people don't realize it works that way, but with ice machines, you're removing heat from the water to form ice. When you remove heat from something, of course, what's left is cold. So an air conditioner will remove heat from our home and reject it to the outside, where, to a place where, is outside of our structure. But with an ice machine, you remove heat from water and it makes your ice by the refrigeration mechanical process with refrigerants and a compressor and basically the identical components that's on an air conditioner is in an ice machine. Basically anything that removes heat with mechanical refrigeration is done with refrigerants, and whether it's water or whether it's air.
You just removed the heat.
You're removing heat.
Is that why we use heat pumps in our houses sometimes? Is that the same thing as an air conditioner?
It's an air conditioner reversed is what a heat pump is.
Okay.
And I know this is hard for you to believe, but a heat pump actually absorbs heat from the outside air to transfer into our house.
So that keeps us
in the
warm.
winter.
Okay. Well,
And that's why they struggle a little bit as the temperature falls outside.
Because if it gets really cold, then there's
And
no heat
they need
to
a little
absorb.
help, and they have backup heat as a second stage electric heat. Of course, it affects your power bill a little bit.
Right.
But the heat pump is basically an air conditioner reversed.
Okay.
And it's exactly what it is. And a lot of people don't know that. The average homeowner.
But you learn it in your program, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. I know of students, when we get into heat pumps, which is later on into the program, they are just amazed that they're picking up heat from the outside air. And people think, well, if there's snow on the ground, it's 25 degrees outside, how is there heat present? But actually, we learn in the program early on that heat is present down to negative 460 degrees Fahrenheit. That's absolute zero. So anything above negative 460, there's heat present. So a heat pump can absorb heat from the air at 20-degree weather.
It'll find it. If there's some
Well,
heat
it's
there,
there.
he's going to find it.
Basically, our field, the first part of our program, Refrigeration Fundamentals, is basically the whole class is on nothing but heat transfer, and they learn about the word heat. And it affects everything in our field. We're constantly battling it with Mother Nature. Heat gain and heat loss is what HVAC is about, and we try to counterreact it with the equipment to either put heat in our structure or remove heat from our structure.
Well, that certainly makes a whole lot more sense than I ever heard about. Can you give me an idea of like job demand in our area for your graduates?
Job demand is, yes ma'am, great, is I just had two individuals this week, two owners of companies in my office requesting students, installation side and service side. One was actually from a company out of, I won't say no names, but Noonan. But he contacted me. He's actually the manager, not the owner of the installation department. But he was in desperate need of technicians. They are always looking.
Good.
The problem is sometimes in our trade, Leigh, is that they are sometimes reluctant to give the tech school graduate the opportunity because he hasn't been in the field for 5 or 10 or 15
They're looking
years.
for experience.
They want somebody to walk in the door like me, and they can grab you right up and give you keys to a van and start going to catch calls. Where the tech school graduate needs to, have a little bit of guidance. And then he can
some
be
experience in your
to wean
class.
his, yes.
You're giving them basics and fundamental for which the employer will give them the details, the specifics.
Yes. Well, we basically, our program is, our ultimate goal is to train a student for an entry-level service technician position at a HVAC/refrigeration company.
Right.
You know, it's they don't have 5, 10, 15 years experience under the belt walking in the door. And so sometimes the owners of the companies and hiring is a little reluctant to hire the graduate, but he has a 150% better opportunity than somebody off the street green that doesn't even know,
Doesn't have any
it hasn't gone through and graduated with a diploma. He has, you know, because I'm a tech school graduate myself, of South Georgia Technical College, and I had a little hurdles dropping my resumes off but I walked in the door and there I was, grabbed up, and I've been in it ever since. But
I read about it somewhat that because of the housing market and everything, a lot of the air conditioning heating units are going to be needing some maintenance or needing some upgrading within the next 6 to 10 years. And so that even adds to the future demand. There is going to be a greater demand because they're going to be needing to upgrade the systems that were built in the housing boom.
Right.
So that's impressive to me. I mean, that sounds like a good reason to get into the program.
Absolutely. We're big changes too in our industry with refrigerants that a lot of people don't know about. The currently used refrigerant R22, the government EPA is phasing out R22. Been putting caps on it for some number of years, but the price of it has just skyrocketed for a 30-pound cylinder of Freon, which is what is in basically everybody's unit. But the new refrigerant, well, it's not really new. It's been out since '96. R410A is what all the air conditioners are being built with, installed. But the change out that you was talking about, the boom of needing replacement, you cannot retrofit an R22 system over to 410A. It's a complete system change out. And you know, the average lifespan of a residential air conditioning system, you know, is 12 to 15 years. I know there's some out there that's 20, 30 years old
They
and
say
still,
they are.
and
Kind
still
of like
kicking.
tires.
But the manufacturer, you know, if you get 12 to 15 years of service life out of your system, it's done its dues.
The rest is gravy.
The rest is money in your pocket. But it's not as efficient, so it's costing you actually. A lot of homeowners doesn't realize that it costs you in power bill consumption to run the system that is basically a dinosaur. You know, it's it's still running, it's still removing heat and producing cold air, but it's costing you a lot more than a upgraded new system would
It'll pay
be.
for itself early on.
Exactly, and you know, so yeah, the change out, upgrading of the big boom of the construction build is you know, and two, with the new refrigerants being in place.
That just sounds like the demand is going to, I think I read that it was like a 30% increase in demand for the needs of air conditioning and heating technicians, which includes maintenance and installation, right?
Yes, ma'am. One of my researches I've recently done too is in talking that our field, the percentage you're talking about, the technicians and installers that's in the trade now, they're either retiring, or they're passing away, but the replacement coming in new is not what the demand is going out.
Right.
So we
don't have enough people filling the
We're
positions.
not filling the service position shoes of what's either retiring or leaving the trade. It's the numbers are down.
The demand is getting greater. Tell me what a starting salary is for one of your graduates. Depending on the area and depending on the
LaGrange area, I mean, yearly salaries or hourly rates, or
you tell me what your research has showed you.
I mean, if the student wants to stay, you know, around the LaGrange / Noonan, Columbus, Phoenix City, Auburn, Opelika, this big circle, you know, they can start anywhere from hourly rate. I've seen go from $12 to $15 an hour. That's straight out of tech school,
Right.
to get in the door. Lowest I've seen is 10, which, you know, anywhere from $35,000 to $47,000 a year. Now you move a little further north, I've had graduates that has went on to work for some larger companies around the Atlanta area, and they have started in the $18 to $21 an hour range in HVAC.
Pretty good.
Which is, but
Sweet.
you're dealing with your service area.
Right.
And can move on up to, I know 3 right now that's working for a company in Atlanta that are close to the $30 an hour range.
Awesome.
And they've been there anywhere from 2 to 5 years.
Well, that brings me to tell me about Skills USA. Tell me about your student that he competed in the state level.
Yes, ma'am. Each year we take a student to compete in the state level in Atlanta. It's usually where it is. They may change that, but the 8 years I've been at West Georgia Tech taking a student, they compete in like 8 or 9 stations and rotate and do HVAC different skill sets, basically what we do in our classroom. And when they compete against other
Technical college.
post-secondary technical college students, and if they place first, they get to go to the Nationals, which is in Kansas City, which is a very big event. We haven't had a first place winner. We've had third. I've had a third place winner from the LaGrange campus, and they place first, second, third. They do win a medal, and nice prizes at the state level. But national level is just phenomenal.
That is such an awesome experience.
They could
for the
pretty
student.
much write their ticket if going to the national and actually placing out there in HVAC. They could probably write their ticket with any job they want in the United States.
That's great.
You know, would be the opportunity, you know, of a lifetime. But it's a great. The students have fun. Some of my students we only can take one a year. That's one of the drawbacks. You take a state level competitor, so we don't get to take multiples. You can't take your whole class.
All right.
But we have taken observers up there. I've taken, you know, we've taken a van load of air conditioning students to go and watch the one student compete. So and they enjoy it, and then it'll drive them to want to do it next year.
Well,
they may not want to do it at first, but then it'll drive them to do it next year.
That is such a great experience. Well, we've run out of time. I know we have an opportunity to talk to one of your students, and I want to make sure he has a chance to tell me his experience and what he thinks about his instructor. But thank you very much for being here with me today. It's been a lot of fun, and I have learned a whole lot. And so will you promise you'll come back and visit again since it didn't really hurt?
I will.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Leigh.
And we'll be back in just a minute. Thank you for coming back to see the second portion of the Tech Savvy episode. We're talking to the air conditioning, heating, refrigeration program personnel. We talked to our instructor, Billy Garner, in the first session, and we're going to get to talk to a brand new student. We have Stephen Sellen here today, and he's in his first semester of air conditioning, heating, and refrigeration. Stephen, tell me what in the world brought you to LaGrange, the LaGrange campus of Western Georgia Tech?
I'm looking to improve my horizons.
But you came to the right place, there's no doubt about it. Why air conditioning in that program?
I was looking for something that didn't have perishable products in it and would have a solid future. And air conditioning looks to be that way.
Well, that's what we were talking about in the previous session. I mean, oh my gosh, the housing boom and all the air conditioning heating units that were put in there at that time are fixing to need replacing or upgrading.
Plus, there's many avenues that I never realized for air conditioning and refrigeration. There's just all kinds of stuff out there. So you don't have to just be somebody to put a piece of equipment in or just test one. There's a lot of supervisory positions in hospitals and
Right.
skyscrapers and things of that nature. So there's a host of things to do.
Well, that's good to know. So you've done your research, and did your research show you how wonderful our programs were at West
Well,
Georgia?
I've mailed off for a lot of different things, and I felt that the solid program was there. And I went down and met Billy and decided that's what I need to do.
Well, so far you're almost done with your first semester. Give me a quick synopsis of what you've learned or what you
Pretty much just the
experienced.
fundamentals. They try to describe how the machinery works and how it operates, and you don't get very far from that. It's a new concept for you to learn. Everything's internal, and it has to do with vacuum and pressures and heat. And
Science.
it's a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun though.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad you found your way, and we're going to let you be one of our poster children for a non-traditional student. How about that?
That sounds fine.
I mean, you were telling me that you'd had other careers, and you just decided that this might be something that you want to go into. And so I've had a lot of people at West Georgia Tech with the same story. They think, okay, it's time for me to find what I really want to do. And, you know,
Right.
they've gone through several different careers. And it was the application enrollment process, was it difficult?
No, I went online and was able to do it all online. Sent all the paperwork in, transcripts were easy to do. So it was a lot simpler than I thought.
Well, good. Do you think that this program is going to be difficult?
You have to study.
Good.
But it's exciting. Billy makes it, interesting, and he gives you a lot of time where you can think it through, and then he shows you what to do right.
And then it's hands-on. I think, especially in our generation, we learn better as long you tell us what to do, but if we do it, we'll remember it longer, and we'll be able to apply what we learn in our program to the real life situation. That makes a big difference.
It does, it does. You relate to it.
It's technical education is, it's like the greatest secret in the world, especially in LaGrange. We take a student that doesn't know anything, and our end product, they're out there making their own money, and they're hireable, and they've got the experience, hands-on experience, and it's really a great program, a great direction to take.
It's pretty fascinating. People are looking to employ you.
Yeah.
I've heard of a couple of announcements since I've been there, just the first semester. And whether they've hired some of the people from the school or not, I don't know. But they're still there asking. So
It's
very
amazing
exciting.
how many positions are available these days. And it's in all areas that we offer programs. And that's our claim to fame is we're not going to offer a program if there's not a job waiting for you at the end of the program. There's just
sounds
no
promising.
reason. And I promise you that we've got the services, we've got the placement services, the career services, we've got all kinds of advising services available for you to help you through the process. We don't want you to get lost or fall through the cracks.
Well, everyone's been really helpful.
Good,
It's been very, very easy.
good. And how
Not
long?
to study, but
Huh?
I said still you have to study, but I mean it's been really easy to work with
we can't
everybody.
help you about that, but we can help you if you get into a bind. So, how long does your program last? When will you be?
I think it's a 1.5-year program. I have a degree in botany, and there's about 3 classes I don't have to take.
Well, that's good news.
So I have about 1.5 years to go.
Okay. Well, that means, you're going to get in the meat and potatoes
Sounds
area
wonderful.
pretty soon. Are you going to go this summer?
Yes.
Good.
You go straight through.
It's a short summer, so you'll get a lot of stuff. It'll be action-packed is the way I call it, but it's a good time to get a lot of stuff done in a short amount of time. So, well, make sure that you've met keep up with the deadlines, and make sure you keep up with all the times when you have to get stuff in, because you don't want to miss out on that.
All right then.
Thank you so much for being here with us
Thank you
today.
for having me.
Will you plan on coming back and giving us an update
I'd
as you
love
get
to.
through the program, and then when you graduate and start making all this money, you can start donating to the foundation?
All right then.
Well, thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for watching us on this episode of Tech Savvy. Please visit us at www.westgatech.edu for more information. And if you want to know more about the air conditioning program, contact Billy. He'll be able to give you all kinds of answers, and he'll be glad to show you the way to get it all registered and all. So thank you very much again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Tech Savvy.